The battlefield had fallen silent, save for the occasional crackle of dying plasma fires and the whisper of ash settling over broken ground. Commander Velthera of the Syndicate Defense Legion lay among the rubble, her four arms twisted at unnatural angles, her exoskeleton shattered beyond repair. The pain was distant now, a mercy her biology granted in these final moments. Above her, the crimson sky of Kepler 442b churned with the after-effects of orbital bombardment. The war was over. The humans had won. Velthara had fought for 3 cycles against the Terran coalition, believing the propaganda her people had been fed, that humans were barbaric warmongers, expansionists who would consume every world they touched. She had believed it until the very end, until this moment when her own people's retreat ships lifted off without her. Commander Velthara is compromised, her captain had said over the comm, voice flat and final. She cannot be evacuated. Protocol 7-9. Protocol 7-9. Abandonment. A warrior too broken to save was a warrior better left to die. She had watched her battalion's ships disappear into the atmosphere, leaving her behind like discarded machinery. The Syndicate had no room for the crippled. Efficiency above all. Logic above mercy. Footsteps crunched through debris nearby. Velthara's eyes, all 3 of them, tracked the movement. A human soldier approached, wearing the distinctive blue and silver armor of the Terran Coalition Marines. The name stenciled on his chest plate read Martinez. This was it, then. An execution. A mercy, perhaps, swifter than bleeding out alone, but Martinez didn't raise his weapon. He knelt beside her, his dark eyes visible through his open visor. He was young, she realized, perhaps barely past his species' maturity. Soft brown skin, a face that seemed incapable of holding the hardness war demanded. Jesus, he whispered, surveying her injuries. They just left you. Velthara's translator implant sputtered to life. Kill me, she managed, each word agony. Your people won, finish it. Martinez shook his head. Ma'am, I'm a combat medic. I don't care what uniform you're wearing, nobody dies on my watch if I can help it. Foolish human sentiment, Velthara gasped. But confusion crept through her pain. Why would he help? The propaganda had been clear. Humans were cruel, merciless. Yeah, I get that a lot. Martinez was already unpacking his medical kit, pulling out strange human devices. I'm gonna be real with you, Commander. I've never treated a Syndicate soldier before. You're gonna have to tell me if I'm doing this right. Why? The word escaped her before she could stop it. Why waste resources on enemy? Martinez's hands paused. He looked directly into her eyes, a gesture that was deeply intimate in Syndicate culture, reserved only for close kin. Because before you were my enemy, you were a person, and after this war ends, you'll still be a person. That matters more. He worked quickly, his inexperienced hands surprisingly gentle as he stabilized her shattered limbs with inflatable splints designed for human anatomy, but adaptable enough to work on her. The pain began to recede as he administered something from an injector. Not Syndicate painkillers, but close enough. Your people left you, Martinez said quietly as he worked. That's not right. Nobody should die alone on a battlefield because they can't walk away. Efficiency, Velthara explained, though the word tasted bitter now. The Syndicate cannot afford sentiment. Resources go to those who can fight. That's not efficiency, Martinez replied, sealing a plasma burn on her lower arm. That's cruelty dressed up in logic. There's a difference. Through her fading consciousness, Velthara watched this young human work with desperate determination to save her life. She had led battalions against his people. She had personally authorized strikes that killed hundreds of his comrades. Yet here he was using his own medical supplies, risking court-martial for treating an enemy commander. I killed your people, she said. Why do you care? Martinez met her eyes again. Because somebody has to. Because maybe if we start seeing each other as people instead of enemies, wars like this won't happen. And because... He paused, his voice softer. Because my abuela always told me that how you treat someone when they're helpless says everything about who you really are. Abuela? Grandmother. A sad smile crossed his face. She died in the first bombardment of New Guadalajara. Your bombardment, Velthara's breath caught. This human, this boy, was saving the life of the commander who ordered the strike that killed his grandmother. I'm sorry, she whispered, and meant it. I know. Martinez finished his work and activated his comm. Medevac, this is Corporal Martinez. I have a critical patient for immediate evacuation. Syndicate officer, multiple traumas, needs surgery within the hour. The comm crackled. Martinez confirmed. Did you say syndicate officer? Affirmative. She's a POW now. Geneva Convention applies. Get that bird here now. As the dust swirled from arriving transport ships, Velthara felt something she had never experienced in 40 cycles of military service. Hope. Not for herself, but for what might come after. If one human soldier could choose mercy over vengeance, choose compassion over efficiency, perhaps there was a future where Syndicate and Terran could coexist. Why are humans like this? She asked as Martinez helped load her onto the stretcher. Martinez smiled, that same sad, gentle smile. We're not all like this, but enough of us are. We remember that everyone's somebody's daughter, somebody's friend. Everybody matters. As they lifted her into the medical ship, Velthara looked back at the battlefield where her people had abandoned her, and one human had saved her. She understood now what they had gotten wrong about humanity. It wasn't that humans were barbaric or merciless. It was that they were dangerous in a way the Syndicate had never anticipated. They were dangerous because they refused to stop being human, even when it would have been easier, more efficient, more logical to be otherwise. That, Velthara realized as consciousness finally faded, was what made them truly formidable. Not their weapons or their ships, but their stubborn, foolish, beautiful insistence that every life mattered, even hers.